So I'm sure everyone is in the same boat. We are all looking like we have some pretty heinous brows. So I'm doing my best to show you guys what hairs to pick up and what hairs to leave. I have a mirror set up behind my camera here. So I'm going to try to get this so that you can all see. So right now I have a little bit of stuff in my brows. I put a little bit of brow gel, a little bit of that Benefit brow stuff. So I'm going to take an alcohol swab and just clean my brows up so you can see what I have. I do have them tattooed, so figuring out what hairs to tweeze is a little bit easier for me because I have a bit of a base. So brows are clean. I have a clean mascara on. I'm just going to brush them. Now, the thing that I want you guys to remember is you want your proportions to be so that your arch comes kind of halfway between your iris and the edge of your pupil, so kind of like here. So my arch is here, not here, not here. So leave all of these guys down here alone. This is my bad brow, this is my good brow. Same for this one. If I take my tweezer and just kind of like line it up with the edge of my nose and put my tweezer in between my pupil and my iris, my tweezer lands right there in the arch. The main thing that I want you guys to know is leave a lot of these guys down here alone because they're going to be useful. So the main thing is I'm going to go in, stretch with my finger, and pull all of these guys out because I don't need them. Stay away from the line of your shape. I'm not afraid to go into this one here because I know what I'm doing, but if you are questioning whether or not you should tweeze a hair, don't tweeze it. Leave it alone. You can see I haven't touched any of these guys down here. These guys are all intact. I've cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to leave these guys down here. And I can take these guys. The other thing that I will say is be careful tweezing any hairs around your tail because it's very easy to pull the wrong one. So the areas that you're leaving alone are right under here and at your tail. If it comes close to your shape, don't touch it. So I have that one eyebrow done. Relatively clean. I also don't want you guys tweezing, trimming your own brows. Kind of enjoying the fluffy look, so embrace it and leave them long. Unless you have like the brows that kind of like your hairs are like this long, then trim it. But trim it from far away. Like you don't need to go right up and make them a nice clean line because let's face it, you're in quarantine. So as long as your brows are clean, you're good. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys how to do is tint. Whether or not you have dark brows or light brows, tinting will almost always make your brows stand out better because it'll catch all the little hairs in your brows, make them darker, make them look fuller. So all my blonde brow girls, you're going to need to tint your brows because I'm sure they're looking a little bit invisible. So blondies, even my brunettes, like you'll see when I tint my brows, you see how this arch looks a little weak? It'll catch all the hairs in my arch and make them look darker, and I won't need to fill them as much. So the two main colors that people will use for tinting will be natural and light brown. So light brown is for my blondies, natural brown is for my brunettes. So this is the color I'm going to use on myself, and I'll show you how much I use. It's not a lot, but that much. So like that much, and then equal amount of the oxidizer. You can get this oxidizer stuff in cream and liquid format. I prefer the cream because then I can actually see the quantity that I'm putting in there. But you can take a little spoolie, mush it around until it becomes like sort of toothpastey. And this spoolie is what I'll use to apply it to my brows. So that's it, that's ready. Okay, so tint is ready. Now I'm going to put it on this eyebrow. So just be careful not to put it on the skin that you're not trying to tint. And you can, if you don't mix enough tint the first time around, you can always add some more. True story. I never used to tint my own brows. I was always scared of tinting. But when I realized how easy it was, I started tinting brows. So I got a little bit on my skin. Just gonna dip down and get a micro brush. So I'm gonna take a micro brush. You can use a Q-tip. I'm just gonna clean up where I don't want my tint to be. Because although the tint doesn't last on your skin very long, you still don't want to have your brows looking weird like that. I'm gonna go ahead and tint the other brow too. You can use a Q-tip, you can use a mascara wand, you can use angle brush, kind of whatever you want. No real rules on what you're using to apply it. The main thing is don't get it on the skin that you don't want to tint. So if you're worried about getting it on your skin, you can always put some Vaseline on there. No big deal. You can kind of start seeing it oxidize, so the tint gets a little darker. I don't know if you remember when I mixed it, it looked like a little bit of like a lighter brown, like an orangey brown. And then as it sits on your skin and is exposed to air, it turns a little bit darker. And then to remove it, you can use a wet cotton pad. You can also use a dry one if you forget, or you can use a baby wipe, no big deal. If you're blonde or you're not sure how long to leave it on, you don't want them to be too dark, you can always leave it on for like 3 minutes, wipe it off, check. If you aren't satisfied with how dark they are, reapply if you still have some in your tint cup, or mix some more, whatever. And wipe this off. Yep, pretty happy with that. See how my arch looks a little bit darker? Not a ton, but it's a little bit darker for sure. Now that it's tinted though, I see some hairs that I don't want in there, so I'm going to go in and readjust. And when I say damp, I mean like soak your cotton pads and squeeze all the water out. You don't need a ton of water on there because then it's going to drip all over your face and then it gets messy. So for my girls who have full brows, you will have an easier time with this because you actually have hair to tint. But if you aren't sure what hairs to tint or what hairs to leave behind, take a nice close-up of your brows, send it to me, and I will do a little sketch on your brow to tell you what hairs to keep, what hairs to take away, and where to stay away from, because it's so easy to mess this up. All right, that's it. It's a wrap. Brows are tinted and they're cleaned up, and I'm pretty happy with what they look. So I know that everyone wants to try and feel better and take care of themselves, because when you look good, you feel good. So I have to put together for you guys the Brow Essential Kit. And in your kit, you'll get a tube of tint, either light or dark brown, depending on the color of your brows. You'll also be getting a tube of the cream oxidizer, because this stuff is the easiest to use. You can actually see what you're doing instead of the liquid. You'll also get a set of tweezers, professional grade tweezers, instead of using a drugstore brand, which are actually pretty expensive too. And also a brow pencil. And the brow pencil will help you fill in any spots that don't quite get filled in with the tint. And I'll do a tutorial on that tomorrow as well. But as always, if you have any questions about what hairs to tweeze or how to shape your brows or anything like that, just DM me with a close-up of your brows, and I'll give you a hand and show you which ones to take away and which ones to stay away from. But yeah, if you have any questions, DM me. $65 for your Brow Essential Kit. Get your brows in shape, feel good, look good. And I'll see you guys soon. I'm here.